Welcome back to the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. This episode is going to be another one of those episodes that I do where I just continue to share myself openly and vulnerably as I grow through life. I love that statement, growing through life, because we are constantly just evolving and growing, and it's impossible for us to ever stay the exact same as we used to. And whether it's on a micro scale, like we've changed right now in this moment from when I even started talking, I've already changed and evolved in like the tiniest way, to the bigger moments, which are things like becoming a parent or starting your own business or other milestones in our lives. And so this one is a very personal podcast episode to me. And I feel very drawn to share this with you, very drawn to share exactly where I am with you. It's been something I've been contemplating and navigating since November 2022. And it's just one of those journeys where it's like, why don't I have the answers yet? Why don't I have the answers yet? What's going on inside of me? And I think it's all finally clicked into place. And that's why I feel like I'm here ready to share it with you. And so essentially, if I could put it all into one sentence, it's that for the past 2.5 years since Ben was born, since I became a mom, I was clinging on to the version and the identity of who I was before becoming a mom and resisting the growth that my soul wanted for me, which was slower, abundant living. I'm going to get into all of it. I'm going to explain that. But essentially, I had this resistance within me to even initially when I became a mom, I even had resistance around being called a mom. I'm just like, no, I'm still Sarah. I am Sarah. I am the Sarah that I was before I was a mom. Please call me Sarah. Don't call me mama, all these things. And I can't even explain. This is going to be, I hope it's going to be easy for me to put it into words, but it's hard for me right now because I'm feeling very vulnerable. So I hope at least the vulnerability part is inspiring you in some way. But I was just I think I was in denial that, yes, this huge life transition where you take so much focus away from yourself and more into another human life, and then also navigating the difficulties of less sleep, and then they're constantly growing and evolving, and you navigating how to help raise them as best as you can in all those moments. And every 2 weeks there's something different. There's just so much. And I feel like before I had Ben, it's I had this blank slate of my day every single day. I could just wake up whenever I want. I was literally living the dream of, I get to wake up whenever I want. I don't have to really, I don't have a 9-to-5 job to go to. I get to wake up whenever I want. I get to work as many hours that I want. I get to just go work out when I want. Me and Rory get to hang out when we want. It was all of that. And I was trying to figure out how to have that life within this life. And I was resisting flowing into this new lifestyle in a way. And it was causing suffering within me. And this weird feeling of lacking freedom. And obviously when we are in resistance of something, it persists and it continues and continues and continues. And this is just a part of me, something on the inside. And I'll unpack it a little bit later, but I don't want you to think that, I'm not happy in my life. I'm not living, I'm living. I'm so grateful. I love my life. I love spending time with Ben. I love my family. I love everything. But when there's just something that's off within you, and you just know there's a part of you that needs healing in order for you to love it even more. It's that's what I've been exploring. There's been this part inside of me. It's not the whole me. It's a part of me that was resisting things. And I've been trying to unpack what that was. And so I think what I've realized is that it's how I have at least, and I think a lot of us are conditioned to think and automatically behave that in order to be successful, we need to work full-time hours. And so let me like backtrack a little bit just to paint the picture of everything and get it all like making sense for you. So initially, back in like 2014, 2015, before I started outsourcing, I was just doing everything myself in my business. I was working 12 to 15 hour days nonstop and overworked, overwhelmed, wearing all the hats in the business. Like there's so many things we need to do as a business owner, as a photographer. And I looked into my future and I was like, I want kids eventually. Like I can't, this is not sustainable. Like I'm shooting 15 to 20 weddings a year right now. And I'm like overworked and I want to bring in more money, but I keep hitting the same income ceiling. It's not making sense. And so like long story short, I've shared this on the podcast a lot already, that I ended up figuring out how to successfully outsource over years. It took me a lot of trial and error, but I figured it out. And essentially I had it figured out to where I was working 2 to 4 hours on average a day in my photography business when I was shooting like 37 weddings. I remember 2018, before I even started any education stuff, I shot 37 weddings and I was working 2 to 4 hours a day during the week. So I had that lifestyle of slow and abundant living figured out. I have the key, and that's exactly what I teach photographers how to do inside of my Outsourcing Made Easy program. But then there was this other area that I was so passionate about that I wanted to fill my time with, and this was mentoring, teaching, guiding other photographers. I had so much to share and it was so fun for me. And it is so fun for me that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Not only do I get to be a wedding photographer, but I get to teach as well and like share with the world in this way and help photographers grow their business in a fulfilled way. Like, yes, please. I love it. So I set out on a journey to pretty much start another business. And I did, and I've been doing this since 2019. Like I've had a podcast since 2019. And honestly, as much work as it freaking takes, like the podcast, all the online courses, the learning copywriting, the online marketing world, all the things, I loved it. As hard as it was, I was motivated. I loved it. And something has shifted. Not that I don't love it anymore, but my needs have changed. So I've realized I've changed, I've evolved, and so have my needs. And so really where I am right now, I'm like, this is a really hard episode for me to record. I'm going to do it anyway because I love you guys. So let me just look at my notes because I want to make sure I don't miss anything because it all interconnects. Okay, so it led me to in 2022. So think of it this way. I'm outsourcing. I've pursued another part of my career that I love. It's challenging me, but I'm so happy and I loved it. And I loved how open my days were to like pursue those passions. And then I become pregnant and it's like, yay, oh my God, we're pregnant. Amazing. I still have all that time on my hands and I'm still flowing through the days, doing what I want when I want. And then February 2022, Ben was born. And I had 2 months of time that I gave myself to just like have nothing, no work, transition into that. And then that same year, I had 32 weddings to photograph because a lot of them got moved over from the pandemic. So I had 32 weddings to photograph that year. But I really did feel like well supported, like I could do that. As many of you know, Rory was on paternity. I can never say that. I always say pat leave because paternity leave is so hard for me to say. He took paternity leave for 9 months. And on top of that, I was fully supported with like my virtual assistant, my editor, and I pre-decided, and I have a podcast episode all about this. I pre-decided that my boundary that year was I was going to work part-time hours because I had all my systems in place, my outsourcing, everything, while also having like so many days off with my family. So like 3 to 4 days off a week with my family. So that was like my balance that I wanted to have the first year I became a mom. So I could still run my business, but also have a lot more time off than I'm used to. So that's what happened. And thanks to that, in 2022, I had my most successful year in business ever, like career-wise, like money-wise. Like I shot 32 weddings. I also had $100,000 course launch of Omi. It's like, what? Like, pinch me. I get to support 50 additional souls and students to help them, take back their time, work smarter instead of harder, have more time with their family and friends, more time for their well-being while they can shoot more and make more money at the same time. Like, oh, I'm so lucky that I get to do this. And I love it. I love this work so much. But then November 2022 hit, and Rory and we went away to Barbados as like this like beautiful, like, I don't know how to explain it, like this trip of a lifetime where he had time off. I could take the whole month off. Like we went from middle of November to middle of December to Barbados to just live there in a villa that we rented out. We invited our family and friends there. It was like the dream. I'm like, I cannot even believe that we got to do this. It was so special. But then what I noticed, and this is where shit started for me, it's like I just had the most successful year financially in my career. And then I am, in Barbados, rewarding myself and just being present with family. But then there was a part of me inside that was like, oh, but I want to keep working. Like, I want to keep working. I just want to get to the next project because, like, I just want to keep working. And it didn't overall consume me. You know what I mean? It's just that, like, little background noise on a vacation where you're like, ooh, that's interesting. I can't seem to shake it as much as I would like to shake it. So that became very interesting. And so in that downtime that I had, and then moving into slow season right after we came back from Barbados, I had like just so much confusion within me. It's like, I was like, who am I as a mom and Sarah combined? The Sarah that I've like worked so hard to cultivate intentionally over the years. Like, who am I? Like, so many things had changed. And then it was like, what do I really want? Like, I just had the most successful year ever, but I'm not satisfied. Like, what the heck is it? And it's like, as soon as we came back from Barbados, I took another like 2 months off, but I felt so unsettled in taking that time off. And then when I finally started working again every day for like 8 hours, and when we had more support again, I was just like, okay, I'm going to work 8 hours every day, 8 hours every day. And it's like, it had me so confused because before becoming a mom, it was just flowing out of me, the working. The work was just effortless. It was fun. It was creative. I would be working every day, but it wouldn't feel like a push. It felt more like a pull, and it came out naturally, and it didn't burn me out. But then last year in 2023, throughout the year, there's just so much of like, why am I sitting in my office sometimes for even 5 hours in a day? And it's like, I only have a couple things to show for it. And like, I have no inspiration. Like, what the heck is happening? And so I think I realized that I was ignoring the call within myself to work less overall. So I thought that, oh yeah, because I liked this in the past, I liked this lifestyle in the past, and I didn't mind working 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day in the past. I was like, it's just normal. That's what we do. When we work 8 hours a day, right? Because I was so used to that in the past, that's what made me happy. I was like, oh, I'm just having an off day. Maybe tomorrow I'll come back into the office and I'll get everything I want to get done. I'll get inspired. I'll get creative. And then it turned into maybe it's just an off week. Maybe it's just an off month. And it continued and continued. And that same Sarah that I knew before, that was just always motivated and inspired and creative, just wasn't there. I couldn't tap into her. And honestly, I didn't realize that I was ignoring the call for me to work less overall in both businesses. And this is where the realization is for me. And it boggles my mind that it took me so long to figure it out. Like, I don't understand why. And I think this is why I really want to share this episode, because if it speaks to you, then maybe it's a nice little like ding, 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 something to pay attention to within yourself. And maybe it won't take you as long as it did for me to figure it out. So I realized, oh, I think I'm now meant to work like part-time hours in both businesses for the long run. Like, and I was able to do that in 2022. I was able to make that happen in 2022, but it was also like when I sat down to work, it was like, okay, and go and work. And I didn't have, and then it was kind of like, okay, done work, which was amazing. It actually felt so good to have that focus time, get shit done in 3 to 4 hours. I'm supposed to get done, have my team support me with the rest. And then it's like, okay, out of the office, and then family time, and then wedding. But I realized like it was family time, work, or shooting a wedding. And I didn't have enough Sarah spaciousness downtime. It's like, and that's me personally. I'm the type of person I need, like, if you could give me like a cabin and for me to just go there for a week by myself, not talk to anyone, and just be with nature, meditate, journal, dance, like by myself. I don't want to talk to anyone. That is like what dreams are made of. So I am someone who just needs an extra amount of time of just quiet by myself. And what I noticed is like, I was just always around people doing stuff and around people. And yes, I went to like yoga here and there. Yes, I went for my walks by myself, but I didn't have those extended periods of time. And so what I'm realizing is, okay, Sarah, this is a great realization, because if you solved this for yourself once, you can solve it again. So this is an interesting place, because just like when I was first like working, it's a little bit different, because when I first initially started to outsource in my photography business, I was working like 12 to 15 hour days, because I was building the business. I was marketing, I was shooting, I was learning, I was like customer service, like wrapping up client packages, like everything you could think of. So I was working way over time, right? And now I find myself in a little bit of a different, and then I started outsourcing, and then I cut back my working time by 70%. And I was making double the amount of money like in the first year, right? So it's like I did that, I solved that problem. And then what I did was fill up my time with another business. So, and that worked for me, right? Like I mentioned, I'm like, I loved it. I had fun. And now it's time to evolve again. And I think I'm at the place now, and it feels so good. I just took a deep breath out, and it just felt really good, because I can accept that now. And now I have this beautiful clarity on the plan forward. And the plan is my boundary. Like I no longer want to work even 8 hours a day anymore for both businesses. Like I want to work 4 to 5. Like I don't want to work more than 5 hours a day. That's what feels really good to me. The rest of the time, I want spaciousness to go outside, go for walks, have quiet time for myself, go work out, pick up Ben even earlier from school, have even more time with him. Like this time is so fleeting. It's like, or take him out of school for like a day randomly because I just want to. And like, so I'm realizing, okay, this is what I'm going to accept now. I'm no longer going to be clinging on to that version of myself that saw success in a certain way. I'm going to form my new version of success. And my new version of success is slow, abundant living. So instead of like just abundant living, I want it to feel slow. I want to feel like I can wake up and take 2 hours of my time to do whatever I want, and then go over to my room and like work on only the tasks that light me up, like, and that's it. And then leave, and then go get Ben early from school. Then we go to the river or go for a hike, and then we come home and maybe I try cooking a new recipe, and maybe I haven't been liking cooking in the past because I've always felt rushed because I'm always like, I'm too excited about this project, so I want to go and get this done. I don't want to be spending my time on cooking. Like I want to go get this done. And that was true for me then, and that gave me fun and pleasure. But now what if Ben sitting at the table and helping me like make energy balls is what brings me pleasure and what I want to get creative with and have more fun, and like have this slow, it's kind of like I'm yearning to re-enjoy my childhood again through him and with him, if that makes sense. Because I remember when I was like 4, 5, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like who do we appreciate? Okay. Oh my God, that came to mind. I couldn't help myself. But I just remember like these times with my mom that were so grounding and present. And this was before cell phones were around. This was before like we spent so much time on TV. And I remember her taking me through just these nature walks and like slow living. She wasn't like stressed when she was spending time with me. She was so calm. And it's like, I don't want that in the back of my head for my programming to be, I should work 8-hour days. If I'm not successful or I'm failing in some way. And what I notice is it's just like, it's been just programming for me. So it's like, I was able to move past the idea of it within my photography business, but then it clung onto me somehow secretly without me even noticing it by being like, well, I'm going to start another business then. Right. And so the cool thing is where I'm at is now that, I have my photography business set up like a well-oiled machine. I have an editor, I have a virtual assistant. If I really wanted to, like I could literally just stop the education right now, stop the podcast, stop the courses, stop teaching, stop mentoring, let that all go. And I would be working like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day easily in my photography business. And I would have that life. Like I already have access to that now and forever because I have that so like mastered, right? My next level now to master is how do I keep the education business because I am so passionate about it and I love it and I love connecting with you in this way and I love uplifting you and I love showing you what's possible. I love teaching my students what to do in a way that feels good for them, aligned to them in order for them to grow in a fulfilled way, in order for them to save time, make more money, all the things. I love it way too much to let it go. So now what I need to solve is, okay, what is the next support that I'm hiring and when, and what does that look like? And it might look like me hiring someone local in person, possibly part-time hours, possibly like a project manager or an integrator, operations manager or a social media manager, someone who has a lot of copywriting skills to like really understand my vision and like everything. And that's what excites me now and feels good for me, but it also feels scary because it's like, I know I've mastered how to hire like freelancers and how to hire an editor and a virtual assistant and all of that. And that's exactly what I teach step by step, but I haven't hired that kind of commitment to, okay, this person's going to be part-time and you're going to be helping me with more like high level strategy and thinking and execution and all of that. So that is kind of like how I'm feeling, and me saying that and envisioning that future self, that future Sarah that is going to have that person supporting her. I could cry. I feel so happy, so grateful. I feel so aligned. I feel like I get to run these two businesses, have the support, and I get to work 5 hours a day. Like that is perfect. That is what I want. That is what I want. And then I want to make a lot of money while I'm at it because there's nothing wrong with that. Money is a tool. With that money, I can support my family how I want. I can, support my loved ones, like my parents, if I need to. We can save for Ben. We can give him so many experiences. And like, there's just so much. And there's no shame for anyone that feels shame around saying, I want to make money. Like, it is a tool, it is an energy, it is a force, and it is literally, it's like the law of reciprocity. We give energy and we get it back through money because then money gives us a certain amount of energy if we spend the money, we receive more energy in a different way. It's all literally energy. And it's like, yeah, I want to make that money. I want to be abundant, but I also want my days to feel slow. You know that saying, the days are long, but the years are short. It's like, I don't want the days for me to feel long in a way that feel like I'm going through drudgery or like, oh, it's so hard. Like, I don't want it to feel hard with me working in my office. I feel like I'm trying to like push my creativity with like ideas, or I don't want it to feel long. Like, okay, well now when I'm hanging out with my family, and I stopped work early because I wanted to work for 5 hours. I don't want to feel stressed that I still have all these ideas that I'm excited about that I want to execute, but I don't have the time. It's like, that is where the support comes in. That's where the person that I can next hire can come in. And it's like, I get to create that lifestyle for myself, slow, abundant living. It feels so good. And I have this like sense around me that it's what the world is craving right now. And a lot of why I even created Outsourcing Made Easy, firstly, was because it was kind of like I wanted to show people what's possible on the journey of, okay, yeah, work less, make more money in your photography business. And then with those extra hours that you have, you can do whatever you want with those hours. And for so many of those years, because I teach from experience and from embodiment, so many of those years, I did take those extra hours and create another business out of them. And so I was sharing with everybody, look, you can make this extra money from your second business with the extra hours that you have and all of that. And yes, it's all true. And I did it in a way where I didn't have to like overwork myself, but I did it within, let's say, average 8-9 hours a day, right? But now I feel like my messaging is shifting to understand the desire that others have in order to want to outsource in their photography business. The desire could simply be, I just want that time back and I just want to like enjoy slow living. I want to be a stay-at-home mom and I don't want to feel guilt about that. I don't want to feel like I'm not earning enough. Like I want to earn enough and be a stay-at-home mom, and enough, I want to say more than enough, because honestly, if you really can strip away the tasks that are like the ones that drain your energy that someone else can easily do for you. Like I've trained my editor, my virtual assistant to do all these tasks for me, like editing, culling, slideshow creation, album design, blogging, creating graphics, other admin work. Like there is so much that you can get off of your plate for such an affordable rate. Oh my God, there I go rapping again. There's so much you get off your plate for such an affordable rate. And in the coming weeks, you're going to hear so many Omi success stories of them sharing what they've been able to outsource, how much time it saved them, and how much they've spent. Like it has literally never been more affordable to outsource in my whole entire career. So if you are that mom that's like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, I crave that so much. I want to be so present in their lives in that time without the stress. Like I want to build my business within a time frame of 2 to 3 hours a day, every day, and then have the rest of the day with them. Oh my gosh, like this is so possible. And I am here to support you through that. And now I understand that even more than ever, because as Ben is growing, I'm going to be honest. And I've been honest with you guys in my birth episode, which came out, I believe, March 2022 or April, where I didn't feel an instant connection to him. It was like I had this like block to like love this little beautiful being. And it's just like grown so much since 2022. And he's cracked my heart open. My heart chakra has been open. It was a little protected before. And now I'm like, I get it. Like I get why you would want to be a stay-at-home mom and like just enjoy taking care of the house and like making meals and just being so present with family and just taking care of family. It's like, I get that. I personally don't want that for myself 100%. It's like, I still want to be creative through photography. I want to support other photographers through teaching, mentoring, all of this. I want to share vulnerably on podcasts like this so that you feel less alone. I personally want that, but I also want the slow living. So guess what Sarah's going to do? Problem solve that shit. Because if there is a problem in life, there is always a solution. It's the law of polarity. So I'm going to figure this out. And of course, I'm going to keep you updated on my journey. I don't know if this is going to be anytime soon. I think this might be a January thing where I'm going to start looking for this new hire, all of that. So I shall see, because for right now, I feel good. And for right now, my solution is that, because for those of you that don't know, my Outsourcing Made Easy course is reopening for enrollment in the beginning of October. So really, really soon, around the corner. And what I've chosen to do is, it's too late to just like quickly hire someone now, and like hiring someone for project management, all these things. It's like a way bigger like training process and all of that than like a quick freelancer, VA, editor, all those things. So I am just going to choose to make decisions along the way to make this launch be very easy, very fun, very flowy, and trust the process that whoever is meant to join Omi this season will join. And I'm taking the pressure off. And then I'm just going to like enjoy building my business in a new way afterwards, and like reverse engineer how I can have everything I want, the money I want, what I want to work on, and the 5 hours a day. I'm going to make it happen. I've done it before. If I wanted something, I've done it before. I made it happen so I could do it again. And so this is where I hope that this inspires you. And I also wanted to mention another quick little story of these signs that I've been receiving, that it is possible to just like let go of that inner conditioning of we need to always be working in order to make money or make more money. Because I do believe it's like an onion we need to peel. And I feel like with initially outsourcing in my business, like 8-9 years ago now, it's like I peeled away a lot of the outer parts of the onion. And I found freedom and success in that, and so much more time abundance and income abundance. And it was a slower pace of life with abundance, but now I'm getting to another level of it. It's like, okay, how do I operate 2 businesses while also having that abundance of time as well? And so I'm getting more to the core of that onion, and I'm still deconditioning that story of we need to be working full time in order to be successful in our careers, right? So I challenge you lovingly to check in with yourself and see, do I have that belief? Like, I need to be working full time or really hard or more in order for me to be successful in my career. And if you do have that within you, something that said, yeah, that does come up for me, just know that if that were true, then like, if that were true, that we have to be always working or working full time in order to be successful, that means every person that works full time or a lot or hustles a lot would be successful. It would be fact all around the world. But it's not a fact, because success is totally subjective. One version of success could look totally different to someone else's version of success. And so now I ask you, what does success look like for you? Is it the way that you are operating your business right now? Is it what your business is currently giving you? Is it the way that you're living your life right now? And be honest with yourself, because the sooner that you are honest with yourself about this, the sooner you are going to be open to a solution presenting itself in front of you. And whatever that solution is, honestly, if it's Omi, amazing. If it's not Omi, amazing. It's not meant to be. If it's not meant to be, that's totally cool. But like, open yourself up. Be honest with yourself. Accept, okay, you know what? I am not currently living the life that is success to me, and I will figure out a way. Just like right now, it's like I've evolved. Like I was living the life that is success to me, and then I've just like explored these feelings, these emotions, this weird resistance within me, and I've realized, oh, my version of success has evolved. Oh, okay. I see you. I'm acknowledging you. And now I'm open to new solutions. Now I'm open to figuring this out. And trust me, I feel so much lighter already. I feel like this like dark cloud has lifted of like this confusion of like, what is this inside of me that's trying to come out? It's like our bodies are always trying to communicate with us, right? So just be honest with yourself right now if that's how you're feeling. And if you are ready to take the next step of like, I want to be supported. I want to be supported in all the tasks that drain me in the business. I want to have that like slow life abundance, and slow living can look totally different for people too. That's totally subjective as well. Mine is, I want to work 5 hours a day. Maybe for you, maybe you're working 12 hours a day now. And for you, slow living would be 8 hours a day, right? So that's totally up to you. But yeah, the theme of this year, the intention around Omi is slower, abundant living, working less, making more, welcoming an abundance of energy within our bodies too. And so I wanted to share a quick little sign that I had recently, which was I have all these ideas of exactly how I want to, launch Omi this year and open up the doors. And there's just so many ideas that I have how I want to connect with you all on the topic and everything. But it's just where I am right now. It's impossible for me to execute all of them without working 15-hour days. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to work 15-hour days. Like, it's just against my values. So I had all these ideas, and there was one day specifically recently where I wanted to just keep working and like executing on those ideas. But then I was like, no, pause, Sarah. This isn't what you want. What you want inside is to stop work early now. Yes, it's early, Sarah. It's okay. It's early. Go outside. The sun is shining. It's still summer. Go see your parents, whatever, with Ben. So I do that. And then guess what happens? Within the span of like that timing and like the next morning, I have it a little mixed up of like, oh, was it the next morning or was it the morning before? But within that whole time frame, I had a couple that reached out to me and officially said they wanted to book me for another last minute wedding this October. So 2 months before their wedding, I get another bonus wedding inquiry, and they say they want to book. When I was out of the house, out of my office, not working, another couple wrote back after they inquired about a 2025 wedding, and they're like, thank you for the information. All I did was send them an email. And then they wrote back saying, thank you for the information. We'd love to move forward. Let us know next steps. I'm like, oh my God. And then I had all these e-transfers coming through for like remaining balances and retainers. And I'm like, I'm literally out of the office right now. And I just like took an early day to like leave the office, and all of this abundance is flowing my way. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, universe, for this sign that as long as I am taking aligned action with my values, I will be taken care of in my life, and I will be taken care of abundantly, not just taken care of, not just getting by, not just surviving. Like, wow, I am thriving. I am out with my family in the sunshine, and I'm receiving so much abundance for the energy that I already did put into my business. And thank you. So that is a beautiful story. Try on that kind of experiment too. It's a little bit intricate because you also have to like be unattached. You have to like leave your house or leave your office and not expect, okay, I'm going to be checking and seeing if e-transfers are coming, because it was a total surprise. All these emails were a total surprise. I just kind of like looked later in the evening. I'm like, all this stuff just came through, and I wasn't even thinking about work or anything. So that's just like a fun little sign that I wanted to pass on to you. And so with all this said, thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me the space to be me, and honestly, in a cheesy way, accepting me for me. It means a lot. And I know that we're connected. I can feel the energy between us right now. And I hope that this inspired you in some way. If it did, please let me know on Instagram. But the episode isn't fully over yet because, as I mentioned to you, I am making sure that this launch is going to be easy and fun, and I'm only going to do things that feel super aligned. Like if I'm spending my time on something, I'm going to make sure that it's super aligned. So what I'm doing, and I've just totally, this idea popped up for me and it got me so excited, and I'm just so excited to actually connect with you live over Zoom. So I'm hosting a workshop really soon on September 18th. That's a Wednesday, called Reclaim Your Time and Energy Workshop. And it's going to be 2 hours long, and I'm still figuring out exactly how much it's going to be. It's going to be under $50 for sure. So you can click the link in the show notes to check it out, to register. What I really wanted to create for you is a space where you can gather with me live with other photographers, where I can help you get so clear on exactly which tasks you love in your business and which ones drain you. And I have a beautiful exercise for this that I'm so excited to walk you all through. And I have this beautiful worksheet that's going to go along with it as well. So that you can just start the first step of you starting this journey of reclaiming your time and energy. Because it really does start with you just being conscious to, these are the tasks I love in my business. These are the ones I don't. And that's all where you need to start. There is no pressure to then from that point be like, okay, well now how do I even start outsourcing this? It's like, yes, that question will follow down the line, but you can't get to those answers of like, how do I start outsourcing when you don't even know what you're going to be outsourcing in the future, whether it's in the near future, whether it's next year. Like this will just give you so much clarity on what is draining your energy, what is draining your money really, because if you're spending your precious time on tasks that are draining your energy, they're also draining your money, because we make money in our zone of genius, which is like shooting, right? If we could just shoot a little bit more and not spend so much time behind the computer, we would feel an increase of energy overall in our lives and an increase in our bank account. It's just how it works, right? So I would be so honored to take you through this incredible exercise of getting clarity on exactly what to keep in the future for yourself and what to let go of. And this is so different for everybody. This looks so different for everyone. And I want you to have your own custom results. So it is a workshop, which means that you'll be putting pen to paper. You would be doing the work. You would be finding out answers. I'm not just going to be a talking head at you and then you're just taking notes. I'm going to be giving all of you prompts, and I'm going to be, putting people on hot seats, giving examples, coaching people through things. It's going to be so much fun. And on top of that, you're also going to discover your dream hourly rate, and you're going to get clarity on what your hourly rate actually is and should be that is aligned for the life that you want to live. It is such a powerful exercise. And if you don't know your dream hourly rate, you're flying blind. Like if a plane doesn't know what city it's flying to, it's just going to be flying, zigzagging all over, just flying around, not knowing what the end destination is. And so I'm going to help you discover what your dream hourly rate is so that you can then get on the right path, the right flight path to get to where you want to go in your photography business. So we're going to do all of this in just a couple hours, and it's going to be amazing. You get to ask me questions live. You get to connect with other photographers, feel less alone, be connected to the community, and all of this for under $50. Like I don't know exactly the price point yet. I'm going to intuitively choose it after this episode recording. And so click the link in the show notes. I'd love to see you in the workshop. I'm only going to be hosting it like once, so get on there. And then lastly, so I've also noticed that over the years since 2020, I've recorded 28 podcast episodes on the topic of outsourcing in 4 years. Like that's so many freaking episodes, so much gold. And so what I thought would be so fun, and again, this is me living in alignment with working smarter instead of harder, working less hard, right? And having fun while at it, and also delivering incredible value. What I've decided to do is out of those 28 episodes, I'm going to take the most popular, best ones that you all loved and found value in, and I'm going to create an exciting like binge week experience for you. So after today, every single day for the rest of this week, you're going to see a new podcast episode come out, and it's going to be an encore. And so you get to binge all of this, take in all this information, let your logical brain take it all in so you can really see what's possible for you. And it's not just going to be from stories from myself or explaining you like different things about outsourcing. It's also going to be stories of my past and my alumni outsourcing made easy students who have also had incredible results. And stories are so powerful because everyone has different experiences, different circumstances. And if you can just connect with someone else on a level that maybe you're going through what they were going through and they figured it out and made it happen, that means it's a huge sign that you can too. So it's going to be such a fun week. Let's call it binge week in the best way possible. And then finally, lastly, doors to Outsourcing Made Easy are reopening in October, the first week of October. And if you are new around here, Outsourcing Made Easy is my step-by-step, literally roadmap to how to successfully and affordably outsource in your photography business so you can get back 70% of your working time behind your computer. So students have been saying that they used to work 50 plus hour weeks at their computer, but Now they work 10-hour weeks behind their computer. It's just incredible the results that my students are getting. And if you go to get on the priority list, which is sarahmonica.com/freedom, go click the link in the show notes to get on that priority list, and you'll be able to see on that page so many success stories of like other photographers, their results. But if you get on the priority list, you're going to be able to have access to like really special perks that the public doesn't, no one else does. So if you are at least a little bit curious about the program, outsourcing, anything, just get on that priority list, and you'll be able to make an informed decision for you when the time comes around, when the doors reopen. And the doors open only once a year. So first week of October is definitely a time you want to pay close attention to. Mark it in your calendar. Check out OMI, check out Outsourcing Made Easy, or just the easiest thing, click the link in the show notes, get on the priority list. And again, sign up for the workshop, Reclaim Your Time and Energy workshop. It's going to be so uplifting and like going to give you so much hope and energy back. And I can't wait to serve you in that way. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And what else do I want to say? Oh, finally. Okay, let's do this, because man, it takes so much work to get the word out about like how I'm trying to help photographers here. Like it just takes so much work. And really, as a community, we can create such a big ripple effect together. And so if you are excited about the Reclaim Your Time and Energy workshop, I would love it and be so grateful if you could think of 2 other photographer friends that you can invite to come join the workshop, have them sign up for the workshop too, because then you could take it with them. And if you are all, let's say you have like other photographer friends and you are all on the same page about all of the things you're going to learn in the workshop and all the clarity that you're going to get, you can all rise together as accountability buddies. My OMI students call them accountability buddies. So accountability buddies. And it'll just, you are who you surround yourself with. And I'm sure that they would be so grateful that you even share this workshop with them, because it could be literally the breakthrough that they have been waiting for and praying for. And so please sign up for the workshop, and then also invite 2 other photographer friends to join so you could do it together. It'd be so much fun. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye. Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sarah Monica Photo. That's Sarah no H, Monica with a K, photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.